Hi, my name is Yona. I'm the after school leader at Field Teen Center, and today I'm going to be talking about Scythe by Neal Shusterman, a dystopian novel in which two teens are chosen as the apprentices for who is basically the Grim Reaper. So far in the future, the cloud, where all the information on our internet is stored, has become so powerful and so vast that it has become self-aware and is now called the Thunderhead. It controls everything from what jobs people should have to population control, and it has completely eliminated death. People don't get sick and die, they don't get hit by cars, or, well, they can get hit by cars, but if they do, a robotic ambulance will come by, scoop them up, take them to a revival center and kind of patch together all their little squished apart pieces and fully heal them. And within a couple days, they'll be back to normal, perhaps a little bit annoyed by the experience, but no worse for wear. There's no more poverty. There is, I guess, no more racism. I'm unsure about that. But it is a perfect society, except for that population control part that I mentioned. If nobody ever dies, something has to happen so that the world does not become overrun by too many people. Because as the book says a couple times, the Earth is their only home and always will be. They're not in space, they're not on Mars, they're not on the moon, so they have to control the population. So that is the task of the Scythes. They are state-sanctioned gleaners. They don't call them killers. They glean, but they do permanently remove people from the living world. So Rowan and Citra are two teens, and they've been chosen by Scythe Faraday to apprentice under him and learn how to be scythes. Only one of them will be chosen, and the other one will get to return to their normal life. So they think. The longer they train under Faraday, learning how to kill, how to maintain their humanity and their conscience while they do this job, the less normal their lives become and the further they get from any possibility of returning to normal. This book will appeal to people who like enemies to lovers stories. It's a little more complicated than that, and it doesn't necessarily resolve neatly as like, yay, the book is over, now they're lovers. Not quite. But it has sort of those vibes. They are definitely not allowed to become romantically involved, which of course means they will. So if you like that kind of thing, you'll enjoy this. It also reminds me really strongly of Star Wars. Partly it's the robes, but there's also this vibe of one character. There's one existing scythe who does not share the values of some of the other scythes and is basically trying to seduce Rowan over to the dark side. Not like in a sexual way, but just philosophically with his words. He's trying to lure him over to the dark side. And then there's sort of this battle of ideals of, it's not called good versus evil in the text, but it definitely would resonate with those themes. So if you enjoyed, I think it's The Force Awakens, right? That has a lot of that kind of dynamic with this relationship, and each of them represents a different side of the Force. Whichever movie it is that has that, very similar vibes. You will like this book if you like those things. It's also one of few real dystopian novels that I've seen in young adult fiction in the last couple years. Usually there's more like fantasy in it, but this was definitely commenting on some real stuff. Like I said, I'm a little bit skeptical of Neal Shusterman's racial analysis, and this is like a chronic problem for him, I feel like. So if you've read it, definitely let me know and let's compare notes. We can see what we make of it. But I do think that he's got some interesting commentary on fascism and corruption. So the Scythes are kind of above the law because they have to kill people, which is normally not allowed. And there are some of them who start to let that go to their heads and try to take too much control over each other, but they do it through this very subtle politicking. And this book also came out in 2016. So I think that some of the events in the book and the way that these characters try to steal power from each other will resonate with people who are interested in the politics of this decade and who feel some type of way and want to process it through fiction. So I did think this was a fun read. It's got a lot of twists and turns that I wasn't expecting. There's a little bit of like a spy thriller vibe and lots of action and fighting, but also It made me almost cry twice, gave me goosebumps when I was sitting in the cafe reading, casually trying to mind my own business, giving me feels. So I hope you'll check it out. If you read it, let us know what you think, who your favorite character is, what color your scythes robes would be if you want. And you can get in touch with us through Instagram or email, and I will make sure that both of those links are in our description.